Something that I say along the way will touch you. I know it. Let's begin that process of crafting a meaningful life.
Here's Mary Crafts.
Welcome back to Crafting a Meaningful Life. Boy, do we have a show for you today. This may not look like my usual leopard chair. Okay, so I'm a little stressed without my comfort chair to sit in, my back support, and all the things I have set up in my home studio. But we're going to offer something different. I've decided I'd like to switch around instead of always being in the comfort of my home and always just recording virtually. We're going to make this a mobile podcast occasionally, not every time, but occasionally, where I get to come to the person and they come to me and we're meeting in a coffee shop. Can you see this is a great meeting room for a coffee shop? And this is such a great place to be together, to be part of the community. Because the one piece I was missing on all these virtual podcasts, as fun as they were and less work for me, I missed being with the person.
Yeah.
I missed that connection that I always had. So you're going to hear some coffee shop noise in the background, but that's okay. And you're going to see us fiddling with the new things I have for my mobile podcast. And drinking our coffee, and she has her lovely chai too. That looks lovely.
It is
So
amazing.
this is a new thing. So welcome to that. I want to introduce to you my dear friend, Elysia Butler. Elysia, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. I feel honored and privileged to be sitting here with you.
My first mobile podcast.
Yes, and look, I brought the leopard.
Yes.
So that's part of the comfort zone and bringing,
Feeling
that to
very
you.
zen all of a sudden. Thank you so much. Elysia, you and I have known each other for quite a while, actually, but we hadn't, it was all kind of Facebook and at big meetings, and we hadn't really connected, and yet we knew we were connected.
Yeah.
And that was what was so fun for me when we actually met in this coffee shop. We're at Public Coffee, and we met in this coffee shop just about 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like,
It was magic. It was.
You ever have those kind of connections that then when you meet them? I meet a lot of people face to face who have been on my social media. And when I do, some are like, oh, hi, so nice to meet you, blah, blah, have a great day. And then there are those that are like a magnet where our souls connect. And that's how it was meeting you.
Well, thank you. I feel the same way. It was instant.
Yeah.
It really was.
And the other time that I knew actually it was up at the
At Weber State.
Yeah, at that conference up there.
Right.
And I guess I received an award that day. I thought I was speaking, but no, I was just receiving an award. And then you were set up with one of your booths.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start there, because I want you to get to know what Elysia does and how you can personally connect with her and what piece of inspiration she has for so many of us. So let's start with that. Let's start with what you do, and then we'll later talk about who you are.
All right.
Because for me, those are two such different questions. And depending on when I'm introducing myself to someone, I always listen to what they ask me.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you do, or tell me who you are.
Okay.
And they're different.
Yeah.
So let's start with, tell me what you do.
What I do. At the heart of what I do is I save kids' lives. And the mission is to catch them before they fall. And so a lot of kids have been struggling. And I've noticed in the classroom, I was a teacher for a long time, and recognized the need for these kids to have some tools and resiliency. Mm-hmm. And so I stepped out of the classroom, created a lot of different curriculum. I've written a book.
Oh, the book you brought.
Yes, I did bring the book.
So this is her book, and I love this book because, as we know, teenage suicide is up 71% since 2010. And wow. That advent of social media did a number on our children.
It did. And I also think when we had our global pandemic and
Yes.
it was separation, isolation, stay away from people, that created a bigger chasm where we actually saw that, oh, what we've been doing is not working.
Yeah.
And these kids are struggling as well as the parents.
Yeah.
That the parents, the kids,
Absolutely.
the communities, it's a whole. And to heal, we're going to do it together as a community with connection and communication. And that's where a lot of my work comes into play, is that we've got to catch kids before they fall. We've got to be proactive in preparing them and empowering them that they're capable of handling hard things, that they're capable of being their own heroes. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to empower these kids, these families, to know that when something challenging comes, you have the tools, the resilience to be able to work through those things. And a lot of this is based off of the work of Joseph Campbell and the hero's journey.
Yes.
And I've taken that and put it into a form where kids can understand that, where they can say, oh, this isn't just a movie or a book. I'm my own hero. This is my life happening. Maybe I'll pull back a little bit and look at different events and go, okay, who are my friends? Who are the people who are here to mentor me? What are my challenges? How am I going to overcome this? So that's packed into everything.
Oh, I think about when my children were growing up, which is a while ago now. My oldest is 42, so there you go. But there was that sense of that I would I would feel good about myself because I always told them, I am your safety net. I'm always here to catch you if you fall and that kind of thing. But what a different approach to be able to say to my children, I am your safety net. However, I also want to stand beside you up here and we hold each other in a safe place so that you don't fall.
Yeah. And what I noticed a lot of times in the classroom is that parents wanted to save their kids from any discouragement, any failure, any low grade.
Yeah.
And so the parents would come in and handle everything for the kids and thinking that they're doing their kids a service. And it's actually a disservice to do that, because then the kids don't think that they're capable of doing something, that they need mom or dad to come in and save the day. When in fact, when we let our kids fail, we let our kids struggle a little bit, they've got to find that courage within to know that they can rise above it.
I think another thing when my children were growing, I always thought, there's a reason why I wasn't given a magic wand because I would have used it. I totally would have. Oh, no problems for you. You get to have everyone love you. You get to be the best in school. You get to be this. And they never would have grown through that growing process. Even in my life, I look back now and the best thing about me are my struggles. And that's what brought me to here. If I hadn't had any struggles, I would have just been actually probably dead. I really believe that. If I hadn't have anything to push through, to work, to learn, to grow my heart, to feel empathy, I don't want to be that person.
Yeah. Well, I think we learn who we are meant to be, find our purpose through a lot of the pain, through a lot of the struggles.
Yeah.
And that's when we really have to dive in and go, what's worth it? What's worth it? And at the end of the day, you are.
Yeah. I love that.
Everyone is.
So when you, one of your pieces that you use is this book, and it says, "Become the hero of your own story." And we all have a story, right? And what if it was written so that you were the hero? That would be like incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
But the best one is down here. 52 tips to teach today's teens. 52, that means one a week.
Yes.
And so there was noise. I love that about
we
a
can
coffee
hear
shop.
it.
We get this live action out there. And there's these people out there looking in here at us like, I think that's our room.
We stole it. We took it. It's okay.
So, and I've been noticing your keychain. Okay, tell me
Yes.
about that.
Okay, so it started with the book here. I wrote this while I was still teaching in the classroom. And so this was out in 2021 was my, actually, sorry, 2022 was my last year in the classroom. And this is when this came out. And the Converse kind of started because they're iconic for teens, right? Teens have been wearing them for ages.
Yeah.
And they still do. In fact, for Christmas, my daughter, who's 13, her best friend just got a pair of red high top Converse for Christmas.
I don't know if we can do this, but I'm going to try and have everyone see your high tops.
Oh, my high tops?
Let's just
Oh,
see
boy.
if we can create this.
Well, Mandy, I don't know if this is even
I'm going to hold your
be
hand
in.
and you put your
This
foot.
might be an awkward position here.
I know,
Can we
it's gonna be
see
great.
my shoes? Okay, I'm like, yes.
Yeah. So, styling the cute shoes. Yeah. So that's why your whole thing is entitled Red Shoes.
Yes, because it is something like, and it started out just as, hey, the teens are wearing this, they will connect and they will relate to it. But it's grown into more than just a shoe.
Yeah.
It's grown into so much more. And I've got these little keychains.
Yeah,
and
that's not the cutest thing.
They are the cutest. But what I want to explain is what they symbolize now. You know, it started out as just a cover of a book, but red is the root chakra. We're being grounded to the earth, to our center with things. Red, when we think of the color red, we think of hope, we think of love, we think of passion, bravery, courage, perseverance.
I think of strong.
And strong. And your heart, right? And so these shoes are that symbol of hope, that you are capable of being the hero of your own story. I think so many times when people talk about suicide prevention, it's in crisis. So we've got that negative connotation with it, that prevention is in crisis. And I want to shift that what if we shift it to empowerment, being bold, being brave, being courageous with every step that you take on your hero's journey? You're going to have trials. You're going to have monsters, right? You're going to have challenges. You're going to want to quit. You're going to want to curl up in the ball and not get back up. But you're going to have that mentor who has helped you and guided you along the way. But they're not going to do it for you. They're going to empower you to believe in yourself. And that to me is what this represents. I cannot do it for you. You can't do it for your kids, grandkids. I can't do it for my students. I can't do it for my own kids. But I can believe in them to believe in themselves that they are capable. And that is how we're going to shift things.
Yes.
By believing in our kids more than what we have in the past. Believe in them, because when we believe in them, they rise to those occasions. I've seen it over and over and over again in the classroom and with my own kids.
Wow. I think that is such a deal. I think this always brings to me all the things I did wrong, but in the end, I didn't do anything wrong. I just didn't do what I thought I was doing. Mm-hmm. In my brain, I thought I was teaching my kids to be strong. In my brain, I thought I was helping them be their best self. But in reality, I think what I did so many times was I wanted them to trust me and admire me, and I went about it in the wrong way by rescuing. Mm-hmm. And allowing people to experience the consequence of their behavior doesn't always mean that everything turns up roses.
Yeah. It doesn't. We have to have the dark to experience the light. And sometimes, like we talked about before, in the darkness is where we found our own light.
Right.
So why would we take that away from our kids to learn the most important things about themselves in those dark moments that they can overcome them?
Okay. So tell me, what exactly then entails the program that you put forth to the world now, and of how to empower our children. So what does your program look like?
So we have the book, and then I have also created some workbooks that go right along with that. So we have ones for ages 5 and up. I've created this in a way that the younger kids can understand that. After I started doing this, and I called them hero boot camps, did them at my home, and we just created the daily compass system. So a system of directions with where it has oh my goodness, here I go trying to remember some of the things, but communication and courage, confidence, and the connection. And so we go through those 4 directions on our hero's journey and teach these kids these fundamentals and these actionable tools where they can walk away and go, I know that I can do better today because of this. We look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Tell me the 5 people you're surrounding yourself with. Jim Rohn is amazing. And we break that down and we go over the qualities of them. Are they positive? Are they negative? And is it time to maybe choose a different playground? So using terms that kids recognize and understand. Going down the slide, right? You're not going to keep going down a slide where you're not having fun. You're not feeling better about yourself after spending time with people. So breaking it down into these workshops, I have online ones, I have in-person ones, I do one-on-one coaching with that. And we're also working on getting into the schools right now with some of the curriculum to proactively prepare our kids instead of waiting for crisis. We've got crisis intervention. We do. But I don't think that's suicide prevention. I think that's just putting out a fire while we're in crisis.
So let me just rephrase that. So for
Yeah.
you, suicide prevention is crisis prevention.
I think how it is right now, and from conversations that I've had with friends, with other people, because anytime that you mention, oh, I do suicide preparation, right? Or suicide prevention. Sorry. So you're prepared. But one of my best friends said, well, I'm so glad that I don't need this for my kids. And I thought, wait a second, we're off, because if you're not thinking that your kids need to be prepared, then we're off on this.
Yeah.
And what I've actually found in the last few years, I've done suicide prevention for the last 8 years, since 2016 is when I started doing that. And we used to talk about the warning signs and what to look for. What we're finding now is that kids are so used to, and even adults, wearing the masks, putting on a mask and pretending I'm okay here, I'm okay there. And those warning signs are not really what leads to someone being anxious, depressed, or even attempting suicide. And so we've got to prepare and teach ahead of time, knowing that every child, whether they face that or not, they will know where they can go, what they can do, and some of those tools.
That's so beautiful. It's so important, Elysia, because I think back, this is something that a lot of people don't know about Mary. But in a previous life, I was a youth parole officer.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I had to do was prepare the teens for when they came out of lockup to go back into their home and back into their community, and then monitor them like parole officers do when they would come out. I worked in that job for nearly 5 years. And in that entire time of my caseload, I didn't feel I had one success.
Mhm.
And that was so hard for me, because I live in the goody two shoes world where it's the fairy tale. I grew up in the 50s and 60s where the fairy tales were still believed in, and you could live happily ever after. And I wanted to send these boys, they were all boys I worked with, out to their happily ever after. And it never happened. And as I left that job, I thought to myself, I'm too late. I'm the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I'm the Band-Aid that didn't stick. And I just would plug up the bleeding part and then send them out, where eventually what happens to all Band-Aids is they fall off. And my thought was, if I just could have reached them earlier, If I just could have talked to them when they were 5, help them believe in themselves, help them believe that it was possible to be more than what they thought they were. And so the value of what you're doing, Elysia, is huge to me personally. And I just want to do whatever I can to support any movement that is realizing it's never too early to build resilient youth.
And that's what we've got to do, because I realized, like, I spent a lot of time in the classroom with the teens. And when they've been thinking these thoughts for 5, 6, 7 years,
Yeah.
that's ingrained in them.
Yeah.
And I do know what it's like to have a child who doesn't want to live. And my little boy was 7 at that time. So he was 7. And we knew he struggled. My background's in psychology. I actually did some of my work on my own son, just trying to figure out some things. And this is a boy who would say life is better off without him. He'd run away from home. We had holes in the walls. And one day he took a knife. And that was the hardest thing at that time that I had faced, going, my little boy doesn't want to live. Somehow I handled that calmly. I called my mom, who's actually a counselor, and we got our son the help that he needed. And one of the things that I will tell you, and every parent needs to do this, and I know people have heard of this work and this book, but it's Gary Chapman and the 5 love languages of children.
Yeah.
Do that, implement that. That book saved my own son's life, saved our marriage, saved the way that we parent our other 2 kids.
Oh, pardon me.
No, yeah, you're good.
So, to help our listeners, what I want to do is this available on Amazon?
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to include the link of where to buy this at the end of this podcast. I'm going to include Elysia's website. We'll have it there. And then we're going to also include a contact for you that if people want to be involved, whether it's from a volunteer level, someone like myself,
yes,
or if they want their child to be involved, if they want to learn more in depth about the tips that can help us reach our teens before these things happen.
And I actually am working on the junior edition of this, which will become the superhero of your own story. And so it's in a language more adapted for 5 and up, so that we can really do that. And it takes all of us. We have to be involved as parents, as communities, to do this and build a trifecta together. Because lots of times right now, what I'm seeing, we send our kids to therapy, right? You send your teen to therapy to get fixed.
Yeah.
Your child doesn't need to be fixed. Your child needs to be heard and seen. And most of the time it's by you. But a lot of times the parents are going, well, I don't know how to talk to my child. I don't know what to do. Because when they go to therapy, they go behind the door, the closed door, right? And they come out and mom and dad are like, how'd it go? They're like, good.
Yeah.
It was fine. And then they don't talk about that, nor do the parents know what the therapist is talking about to the child. And I am not a licensed therapist. I have the credentials to get a license, and I'm not going to do that. My degree is in psychology. My master's is in educational leadership. And I've worked with thousands of kids over the years. And the reason I'm not going to do it, because there's red tape. I want to do what's best for those kids, and I need the parents involved. And so my way of working with the kids and the programs that I do, one-on-one, I usually do about 30 minutes. Okay. So we do 30 minutes because these little ones, they don't need an hour sitting with someone. What the research has shown is that in micro doses, lessons and doses is when true change is implemented, and then they can take those actions to be able to do it that week. So I have 10-year-old and 12-year-olds that I've worked with this week. And so I'll talk to them for 20 minutes. We'll talk about different things, whether it's the mindset shift scale from a -5. How are you reacting to a +5, which is responding?
Right.
So talking about the differences at age 10 of reactions versus responses, recognizing their accountability in things. So we talk for about 15, 20 minutes, and then the rest of the session, I'm with the parents going over, here's what we talked about. Here's the daily directions for your child to take this week. And I have the parents reach out to me through text, through email, and say, and let me know what's going on, because I don't want to have a child come to a session and it's, chaos with it.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on at home. How can I support you this week? So it's really, we're a team. We're a team. And the difference and the impact that it's made. I met with a cute little 7-year-old a couple weeks ago, and that I do in person. And it was the cutest thing. He carries this around now. And his dad said, in 1 week, he is walking with more confidence and believes in himself.
Well, who wouldn't walk in more confidence with red Converse? I just have to say that is like, whoa,
yes,
right?
It does do that.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We've got to shift to do it different. We've got to have the kids, the parents, we've got to be a team together. So all of my programs, everything, I don't work with you unless, or just with your child. You got to choose to work with me too, because your kids see you. They hear you, but they see you. And when you guys work together, that's when you truly rise up as heroes.
Yeah, I love that. Now you have a gala coming up.
Yes, we do.
Which I've bought tickets for.
I'm so excited.
So if you're here locally in Utah, you can attend the Red Shoes Gala. I've been told that the best thing is to wear a pair of red Converse, which I do not own.
I'll have to get you a pair.
So I feel there may be a pair of red Converse in my future, but being a very short person, I always wear heels. But, this is a nice challenge for me to step into, because this is not just for parents of young children.
Mm-hmm.
These are parents who now are grandparents. I have my grandchildren are 5 to 16.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And now is a great way and a great time for me to be empowered to help them and to support them. And then, of course, interest their parents in. So if you're past the childbearing ages like I am, that's okay. You can still support the Menzies.
Or if you don't have kids, you know kids, you have nieces, nephews, you live in communities. Yeah. All of us are connected to kids in our lives, and they're our future.
Yeah.
They're our future. And so many times people say, well, kids these days. No, kids these days are amazing.
Yeah.
We just need to believe in them more and let them show us what they're capable of instead of stopping them before they get a chance to show us. And the gala, so the Red Sneaker Gala, this is our second year, because I have a for-profit and a nonprofit. So the Hope Hero Foundation is the nonprofit side of things, where those who can afford the services, yes, they're gonna pay for some of those. But I'm in some schools providing services, speaking. I gift my books many times.
Yeah.
I do some coaching programs and different things where we provide heroships for kids or families who are saying, yes, I want to empower my kids. I want to do this before my child needs this. And so we're offering resources to be able to help every family, no matter where they are at with the finances.
Yeah. I was just thinking, though, can I see that other one?
Yes.
If by chance I don't get red Converse before, these could be like the most awesome earrings, right?
Those would be. I could
make a matching necklace.
Yes.
And I could probably use this as I could make some sort of a ring out of this.
Or a bracelet. We could hook them together. But the earrings would be great. I think the earrings
would be awesome. And I'm thinking about this absolutely amazing red formal dress I have with this big ruffle and has my shoulders showing it. Then these Converse.
Well, you're gonna take those too, and I might wear them too.
It's kind of fun. I think I could get a clip to work on that. But the value of that is, yes, I would love to pull this key ring out at any place, and so that any youngster who is looking at me goes, "Wow, what's that grandma? She got that red shoe key ring. Wow, she's a rock star." But the value of it is, of course, making a statement that I stand with them, I stand with you, and I stand with me. And the value is that you have that constant reminder that says, "Ah, I am strong. I'm bold. I'm safe.
Mm-hmm.
My own root chakra is just singing. You're okay."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you don't have to know all the answers. We're not
Good.
meant to know all the answers, and that's why we have each other to lean on, to grow, and to empower each other, to be beside each other
Yeah.
in those times. And it's a positive symbol. It's going, you've got this. Even if you don't know how you've got this, and we're in it together.
Your
We're in it
bright
together.
light is just so brilliant and shines so bright. And I'm glad to know you and to feel your heart. And I think that any of us would be a better person for getting to know Elysia and empowering ourselves so that we can empower others. Elysia, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you so
You're
much,
just
Mary.
incredible.
I just adore you. Seriously. I'm so grateful for you in my life.
And until next time, I may show you if I have red shoes like this.
Yes.
And remember, this is how we craft our meaningful life, by opening our hearts to what is out there and where we can go with it, and our vision. Sometimes people forget what their vision is. They're just trying to get through day to day. Well, one of the things that allows me to step into a greater vision is have it not just be about me. When I'm able to help others, extend a hand, when they can look in my face and know they are loved. Ah, now there's some great vision for you. Until next week. Oh, loud thing here on the table. I think we might try this again. I think this was kind of fun to be here in this coffee shop. But until next time, fill your heart with vision. Namaste.
Crafting a meaningful life.